Okay, so when I first started thinking about like how to describe Steve Larsen's writing style, I always thought it was kind of descriptive writing. He often goes into lengthy descriptive paragraphs about the steps someone takes to hack into a computer system or a specific flower. For example, I have an excerpt from The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I purposely picked parts of the paragraph that didn't have Latin words in it, but just know that those are there. Here goes. The plant was native to the Australian bush and uplands, where it was to be found among tussocks of grass. There it was called desert snow. Someone at the Botanical Gardens in Uppsala would later confirm that it was a plant seldom cultivated in Sweden. Larsen goes on like this about the same plant for easily 2 more paragraphs. So, although I hadn't really spent much time thinking about exactly how to describe his writing, I sort of started changing my mind after I got into these examples. Here's another one from another book, and it's a little bit less specific, but it's kind of how he generally describes surroundings, so I still think it's useful. Salander put her book down on her lap and sipped her iced coffee before reaching for a pack of cigarettes. Without turning her head, she shifted her gaze to the horizon. She could just see the Caribbean through a group of palm trees and the rhododendrons in front of the hotel. A yacht was on its way north towards St. Lucia or Dominica. Further out, she could see the outline of a gray freighter heading south in the direction of Guyana. So, after looking at the different parts of speech in this paragraph and kind of evaluating them, I decided that descriptive was not the most accurate way to talk about Larsen's writing style. There are actually very few adjectives and adverbs compared to the amount of nouns and verbs in the sentence, and the ones that are used, like iced or gray, are pretty simple. The verbs are also very easy, they're not overly complex, and the sentence structure is also not very complex. So it certainly isn't pretentious writing. And then when I started thinking about that, there's a bunch of other things I realized that his writing isn't. I did a quick Google search for a more expansive list of terms to describe writing style and some definitions to go along with them. And then when I combined them with the list that we did in this class, I was easily able to cross a few things off the list. Like, obviously this writing is not rhythmical or lyrical, or it's not prim or ornate or stately or incoherent, or it's also not humorous or sarcastic and things like that. So there were some very obvious things that it wasn't, and I realized when I was eliminating all these things that mostly, to me, the writing is just kind of plain. It offers a lot of details, but not with a bunch of specific adjectives and adverbs that I would normally associate with descriptive writing. It's orderly, it's coherent, and it's clear. And as I got to thinking about it, I realized it's kind of journalistic, which is not surprising given Larsen's background in journalism. It's as though he's kind of reporting what's going on around the characters and their surroundings. So I also realized that a lot of this could come from the translation of the text. It's possible that the translator just chose the simplest translation instead of the most accurate one. However, given my own experience with translating, I don't think that this is really necessarily the case, or at least to the extent where it would affect the writing style as we see it, because the English language has a very expansive lexicon, and it's usually not very difficult to find the right word or group of words to express what you're trying to translate. So overall, I don't think that it would have had that much of an effect to take the writing from something ornate to something very simple. So overall, I think that Larsen's style is detailed. He spends a lot of time talking about surroundings or specific actions, but he does so in a very straightforward way. Sometimes the information is complex, but the writing style isn't. Any questions? Okay, thanks. Oh,
did you find any comments from the translator on that issue of trying to preserve what was there, or the difficulty of or ease of it?
I did have a hard time trying to find comments from him, because it doesn't seem to talk a lot about the process of translating this book. I'm still searching, but I haven't really found him talking about that a lot, unfortunately.
All right, thank you.